So the inspiration is from years of living um, with someone dear to me who lives with mental health and substance use. And I wanted to show what it feels like for me being a caretaker and mom, uh, living in it, and how it affects the whole family, how it's not just the person, not that I mean just the person that's, dealing with and living with this, that we're affected as well. And I wanted to show how it feels, and I didn't really know how to do that, and it took a long time. I was with the Center for Emerging Visual Artists, and one of their executive director helped. Her name's Genevieve. She's not the executive director. Anyway, her name's Genevieve Katrubis, and she worked with me on trying to figure out what it was I was trying to say and how. So the microscope slides came about after I kept thinking, oh, it has to be on resin, or I have to make it something more than it. It wasn't until I realized I wanted something more natural to use, and when microscope slides came to my vision, I thought, well, that makes perfect sense because of biology and being under a microscope and seeing so much, and nobody would really understand that unless they've lived it. So it also has like a crime mapping to it. If you've ever watched one of those crime shows where they put everything up on the wall so they can see it and make better sense of things. So that also was part of the making of this. I kept putting things on the wall, and then I liked I didn't like the feeling, but I wanted others to feel the feeling of the closeness and tightness, and the chaos. And then the light on top of it is almost like an interrogation light where you can't, but it also could be like leaving a light on, where a mom always leaves the light on, or somebody who loves someone keeps a light on for them. So it has all these different meanings, and it took a long time to come to all of it. So it first was going to be virtual reality. Then I realized I don't really know how to do virtual reality, so I have to stick to what I know. And so the microscope slides, and I had to figure out how to print on them, and then keep them on the wall. So the person who built this, a friend of mine, his name is Ben Mills. I went to school with his wife, Maggie Mills, who's a phenomenal painter. He built this, and then we started thinking, well, how do we keep the slides on? So I came up with the idea of the metal coming behind it, and that's why there's little tiny magnets on the back of each of the microscope slides. So it just all came together after a long time of thinking and lots of writing and lots of research. For a long time, I kept thinking I was putting on a pity party of some sort, and I didn't want it to come off that way. And I don't think it does, because that's not my intention. It gives me the idea that I followed my instincts, and I should do that more. And I do. This piece has taught me a lot about that. So winning first place when I kept trying to apply to a lot of different galleries, but it wasn't going there. It also wasn't finished, so I shouldn't give that. But I really was concerned that maybe I didn't do it right, or it's not that compelling that I thought it was. So winning that award, the award of first place in sculpture, makes me rethink of how important the work is, and that I did do it right. I think for people to take away from this is to realize that we have to talk more about it, that it doesn't make us bad people, that we have this in our lives, and it doesn't make the person who's dealing and living with this bad people. We just need to spread a little more kindness and compassion, and to see it for what it is, that it's not make believe, and it's not other people who are doing it, or people who are no good or are unworthy, that we all have something like this in our lives, and if we don't talk about it, it's just going to keep getting worse. And I think we have a pretty bad problem already with the overdose crisis that's happening, and I just think we need to be more aware that we need to speak our voices and not be ashamed.